How's it going, guys? This is Wowbagger bringing you a review of the new TR sidearm, the T4 Amp. Hopefully by the end of the review you'll decide whether it's worth your certs and if it's honestly any better than the default repeater. First of all, I'm going to give a quick overview of the amp. Basically, in a nutshell, it's a micro SMG. It is the fastest firing gun in the game at 937 rounds per minute, with the Lynx coming in second at 909 rounds per minute. It has a slightly fast reload speed at 1.6 seconds short and 2 seconds long. This is a good thing because it compensates for its pretty atrocious magazine size at 21 rounds. Because of that 937 rounds per minute, a 21 round mag size does not last long. It empties its mag faster than just about any other gun in the game. Something else to keep in mind is that it really isn't an aim down sight weapon. It has some of the most insane vertical recoil that I've seen from any gun in the entire game. The only one I can even compare to is the Gauss-Saw, and that one fires so slowly it isn't even comparable. I've heard people comparing it pretty frequently to the TMP from Modern Warfare 2, and they play very similarly. They even have a similar sounding name. Very high vertical recoil, very fast fire rate, but this takes a lot more bullets to kill someone. The amp has the lowest pistol bullet damage in the entire game at 100 damage maximum, falling off to 73 damage at 50 meters. I'm going to be comparing the gun almost exclusively to the default repeater because of how similar the two are. To start off with, they both fire extremely fast. The repeater fires at, I believe, 845 rounds per minute against the 937 of the AMP. I'm going to put the stats up on the screen as well. They also both have identical mag sizes as well as identical hip fires and aim down sight accuracy, and even their muzzle velocity is the same. This means that they are filling basically the exact same CQC role, and I'll go into a little more depth as to what specifically differentiates the two later. And now for some of the differences. The repeater has a slightly higher bullet damage than the amp, but the amp empties its magazine faster. So what this boils down to is that the repeater is better at range. This is also due to its 3-round burst that's basically required. You don't want to be using either of these guns semi-automatic. It basically means it extends closer to 5 to 10 meters as opposed to the amp's basically knife range engagement distance. The repeater is better at handling multiple targets as well because of its higher damage per magazine. But the AMP, that time to kill is hard to beat. It can take out one target, reload, and go for another one about as fast as the repeater can go for two as well. Now I'm going to go into the attachment options. Like all the Empire-specific pistols, the AMP has access to a suppressor, a laser sight, and a flashlight. I recommend picking up the laser sight first and then going for the suppressor. The laser sight is really important on this weapon as it has really high cone of fire bloom, and that's probably because it shoots so fast. This also offsets the pretty terrible ADSing with this weapon, because you want to be hip firing the majority of the time when you're in range to do so. I would also recommend the suppressor just because I don't really see any downsides to it. You can even judge for yourself from the light assault clip where I'm at the amp station whether it makes any difference at all. That's the only one where I'm not using a suppressor. If you are in the AMP's good engagement distance, which is within like about 5 meters, a suppressor will not affect your damage output in the slightest. And honestly, the recoil is so high, I would not recommend engaging anyone outside of those distances unless they were already really low health, because you're just going to end up wasting your mag. And frankly, I see no reason to put a flashlight on this weapon. It isn't worth taking the hit to hip fire that putting a laser sight on would help. I really recommend using this weapon for Stalker Cloak because it is a very excellent sidearm for CQC setups, and it really can kill an enemy faster than any other pistol in the game unless you multi-headshot someone with one of the higher damage ones like the Rebel or Cerberus. It takes out unshielded enemies in no time at all, so I would really recommend it for classes where you think you're going to be already putting a good amount of damage into them, like a heavy assault, and after you lay a few LMG rounds into it, you just flip to this and you'll be able to burn through the mag in about a second and lay in quite a bit of damage. Because of that really small magazine size I was talking about, I recommend laying the full mag into a player if you're able to, because each of those rounds really counts. It takes basically the full mag to kill a player, and especially if a heavy assault throws his overshield on, you're probably not even going to be able to kill him in one full mag. And here are my final thoughts on the weapon. Although it is still a very good gun, the AMP is a niche weapon. Not many people want to be engaging enemies at knife range with a secondary. Frankly, I can't recommend it for new players over the repeater. And this is mostly just because the repeater outranges and outdamages it. The AMP can still kill someone faster than the repeater, but it's nice to have that extra burst or two leeway. You have to be dead on accurate with the AMP. But I can't emphasize enough that it is still a good gun, and it is one of the most fun guns in the game. Its absolute uncontrollability while aiming down sights, as well as its amazing audio design and its animations, give it a personality lacking in the other TR sidearms. This was Wowbagger. I will see you guys next time.